Well, friends, it looks like we finally have discovered the actual cause of gun violence in the inner city. It would appear that it's your fault. It's your fault and my fault. According to a recent study, almost 8,000 shootings in United States cities in recent years were attributable to unseasonably warm temperatures. The researchers said the work suggested the climate crisis could be contributing to increased gun violence by pushing temperatures beyond the normal ranges. They also claimed that increasing tree cover and green spaces, or greening as they like to call it, greening is the word you need to learn. If we green these spaces, that also contributed to a lower possibility of gun violence in these areas, according to them. They also mentioned, and I want to take the joking part out of this because this is actually a very foolish article here, but I want to take the joke out of it for one moment. They talk about this being a public health crisis. I've talked about this in videos before. By them calling, quote, gun violence a public health crisis allows them to implement some of the really intrusive and overreaching type laws and restrictions that we experienced during their pandemic. This was one of those things that they got drunk on power, they like the taste of it, and they want more of it. And if they can continue to use the word public health crisis, this is literally how they write these laws, using the words public health crisis. So by repeatedly using the word public health crisis when referring to gun statistics or gun shooting statistics out there, they are indirectly tying those terms to one another so that eventually they're hoping the American public, as stupid as they are, would be stupid enough to allow them to implement these overreaching policies that they had during COVID, because they claim that it's a public health crisis as far as guns go. One of the scientists from the University of Washington in Seattle said, "There is a concern I have after the study that firearm-related violence will rise as climate change continues." So this guy's worried that as supposed temperatures rise, that he will see more violence. It would seem to me that the correlation and causation argument maybe has not reached this guy yet. Because not once does he mention in his study that maybe the no bail, maybe the defunding the police, maybe the suspended sentences, maybe those are contributing factors to putting felons and criminals back out on the streets before they're either rehabilitated or terminated. Maybe those might be contributing, because those are things that are changing right before our eyes, and they're happening right now. They're actually happening at a much quicker pace than the supposed warming of the environment. So maybe, just maybe, there are other factors besides your little climate issue that might be contributing to the increased level of shootings by criminals. They also mentioned that a study in 2020 reported that rising temperatures caused by global heating are likely to increase, get this, deaths from road crashes, violence, suicides, and drowning, affecting young people most. So people are going to be wrecking their cars more often as it gets hotter, right? Surely, I mean, that's, of course it does. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? Drownings. Is that because the people are so hot they're jumping in the water to cool off? I'm making fun here and not to belittle the people on the suicide side, because clearly higher temperatures are not why people are killing themselves. This study is foolish. Now, the thing that got me the most was that I live here in the South. I live in Lake Charles, Louisiana, 20-something miles from the Gulf of Mexico. It gets freaking hot down here. Our summer daytime highs are usually 95 to 105. Those are our normal highs. Our nighttime temperatures stay in the mid-80s. They said that what they consider to be extremely hot, that might be one of the contributing factors to the, quote, gun violence, is temperatures between 84 degrees and 89 degrees. I would give my left nut in the summertime if our temperatures only reached 84 and 89 degrees. If their facts, as they call them, and their research is accurate, since we don't experience temperatures at 84 degrees until probably late September or October down here, That would mean that we should all be extinct in the South, because between May and September, we should have already killed everybody in the South because we don't experience any of these beautiful temperatures of 84 degrees or below within that time frame. They added that researchers have found that greening those spaces, replacing them with little local parks, reduces nearby gun violence. We have also found in our work that more tree canopy in a neighborhood is associated with less gun violence. Do you think, just maybe, this is a hunch here, do you think that when you level a high rise, completely destroy it, and plant 2-3 city blocks worth of green space could potentially be why there aren't shootings there anymore? In other words, if you have 10,000 people living in a 2-block area, when you do away with that space, you do away with all those people. In other words, you displace them somewhere else. So now you don't have 10,000 people in that area. When you have 10,000 people in a 2-block area in a big city that's already got a high crime rate, like Chicago, for instance, the odds of having criminals in that space are really good. But when you remove 10,000 people, even from the worst of cities, you will automatically, by default, reduce the amount of violence in that area, which would include your gun violence. Just maybe that's your cause. Maybe it's not because people aren't so hot anymore. Maybe it's because the people actually aren't there. Folks, this is all about money. It always is. It's always about money. This is about these people trying to create something. They understand that they have fools in Washington, D.C. and in the White House that will listen to them. They understand that there's a bunch of hippies out there who want this green stuff. Yeah, let's do the green thing, man. Let's dance and sing and smoke a little dope. You know, they're wanting to appeal to a certain subset of people. So you've got politicians who are begging the hippies to vote for them. And then you got these people over here who recognize that the politicians are stupid and that they're caving to the hippies. So these researchers see, aha, if I can get these politicians in Washington to agree to send me money for more research, that will make the hippies happy. So therefore, they're going to want to stay in power. So they're going to try to appease these hippies, which means they're going to send me big checks to do stupid research like this in the future. It's all about money. It all comes down to money.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's so